Well, it's raining pretty hard today. That gives me the perfect excuse to spend some time playing with my trains. Hello everyone. Today I'm working on this Atlas made by Rivarossi 282, and it's seen better days. It's got, first of all, the roof is missing. Now, I did not know that these roofs came off, but apparently they do come off. And I'm not even sure if this runs, although it's got the very nice micro trains conversion here, front and back. So this tender is kinda nice with its nice conversion. There doesn't appear to be anything wrong. That's a little spring. It's bent a little bit, but that's not gonna keep it from running. Plus, I'm gonna straighten it out right away. So something new for you guys today. I started my website, and immediately after I finish working on this, I'll be putting it up on the website, so you can buy this. And I won't tell you the price. You have to come and look. And keep looking, because as the weeks go by, I'm gonna lower the price a little bit every week until it does sell. So let's say we start by, well, I'll give you the name of the website. It's watchtrainsnow.com, and I'll be putting that in the description below, so you can come and take a look, see if there's anything you like. I'll be adding and removing stuff every week and changing the prices, so it's worth checking back. All right, let's go find out if this runs. There's a chance it won't run, so let's see what we got. Nothing. I mean, really nothing. I'll try the other direction. Still nothing. Well, if you've been watching my videos, you know that there's a good chance it's gonna run anyways. So the first place I start is, I'll have to clean this up. That is the first place to start. There you see the screw to remove the shell. When I saw this for sale, it looked complete. Everything looks complete. Everything looks there. But obviously they did say in the ad that it doesn't run. These, you have to know, once you get to know them, I think they're a good engine. Far superior to Bachmann. Back in the day when they came out, must have been 40 years ago, they were state of the art. And on these, I don't pull too hard on these. I'm not sure that's from the factory, and neither is that. This wire brings electricity to your headlight. I think this headlight still works. There's one quick way to find out. It's tough to put my wires in the right spot and show you at the same time, but the light does work. There we go. So the light works. That's 100% good news. I don't take them out of there because it's a little bit of a pain to put them back. So that's good. The light works. Let's check the motor. Actually, I was all set up for that. Check the motor. The humming in the background, that is an old Bachmann power pack. It's noisy, but it still works. I'm getting nothing. Oh, I heard it work a little bit. I'm gonna give it more voltage there. I heard it kind of work. So we're in good shape. I think there's a blockage in the drivers. So that is an issue that I can work with. Yes, the motor works. I'm gonna pull it out of there, and then we'll fool around with it some more. To pull it out, all you need is you take your screwdrivers. These two screws come out, and then I'm gonna pop this out, because this pops out as well. That's going to need more work than that. This is just a wire that brings electricity to your light. I want to take it easy because of the age of this, the plastic, it might be brittle. Same with the welds. I've seen them where the frames rot out, they oxidate over time. So that very sad to see. But this one is okay. I've got quite a few of these and they're all okay. This screw's gonna be a little bit hard on me. So okay, I started it, and then you will notice I tried to keep all my stuff organized as I work. That is just an old case that's found, that's okay. And then I try to keep my stuff organized. This is probably just junk that's gonna go to the side. And then these screws, I'll even pop them back in actually while I'm working on the motor. So this comes out like that and the motor just pushes out. That's all you gotta do, push it out. Don't pull too hard on this because that has your commutator. If you pull too hard, you will rip out the tiny little wires. They're so tiny that I don't have the ability to put these together. So yeah, I'll put my screws right back there where they were. That's gonna save me looking for them later on. You know, I like to have old cars as well. And I see more and more of the nice old cars. People retire, they say, finally I get to have time to work on my old car, and they take the car apart and then they get sick and the car just stays there in the garage for how many years, and then they pass away and their widow and children have no interest in the car and they just sell it, but everything's taken apart. So I'm slowing my voltage a little bit. It's actually a good running motor, lots of life left in it. I have to increase my voltage a bit. Just needs a little bit more. I like to run them with as little voltage as I can, but that's got lots of life left in it. So don't pull on the back, but on the front here you can pull and get yourself maybe just a little slack. I'm going to be using that slack to just to put some oil in it. It's the kind of oil that I use. And then I'll just put a drop. So this side does not have the commutator, so you can go quite a bit liberal. When I oiled it, I was a little bit too far to the side, so just to show you, I just put just one drop. And then I'll turn it with my hands a little bit. And then I'll use the power pack. So yeah, the people are selling the cars, everything's been taken apart. But now if you want to do that job of putting the car back together, you just got buckets or drawers or boxes full of bolts. You don't know which bolt goes where. That is a very tough job to put the car together. Same with your trains. You know, sometimes you'll see trains on eBay and they've been all taken apart, and you don't know which screw goes where, or if there are parts missing. With eBay today, it's a lot faster to get a part that's missing, but it's expensive. So that won't turn for some reason. I'm going to investigate that for a minute. There's something happening inside the motor that is not pretty. So I'm gonna have to take the whole thing apart. Here's how you do it. You take this off. There's a little connector U-joint, and then you can pull on the back, but very, very carefully. Now, with the connector removed, you won't be damaging your commutator, which is hidden away in here. So that you want to try not to damage that if you can. So that has there's a little bit of thrust on there. There's a little washer down here that you don't want to lose. I'm going to try to get a little bit better lighting. There is a little washer down there, and you do not want to lose it. But that's got plenty of oil now, that's for sure. So it's in its place. I'm not gonna do anything. Just gonna do a good visual inspection, a good cleaning. I'll probably just use a little bit of a rag or a Kleenex to get in there and clean it. So there's that little washer. I can't set it in place because it's magnetized. So it just keeps moving around, but I'll put it on the end of the shaft here, and that will keep it in place. And then on the commutator side, I do not want to put any oil, just a little bit on the outside, and that will be good. So I'm just gonna go over everything, make sure everything's okay, and I'll put it back together and we'll see where we're at. Well, I have everything out in the open. It's easy to get oil in there. Just one drop. That's all you need. Everything's nice and clean. And I'll put this back on because I want to see if it moves, if it turns. Look at that. It's even running quiet. That is quite an improvement. I'm going to turn off my power pack. It's a little noisy. So now I know that probably the problem is in here. Maybe something's binding. You can tell nothing's moving here. So I'm going to remove all this valve gear here. I don't know if I'm going to have to remove the pilot or not. We'll see. We'll just take it one step at a time. Here, this pilot truck here is held on by this screw. So that's going to go to the side. Just so I can get a little bit of clearance. There's a very nice little spring that helps put tension on the track so your engine doesn't derail. And to be fair, these are pretty good runners, so I don't want to lose this. So that if I had a box, I would put that in a box. In fact, I should go get one. That would be smart. Look at the beautiful detail on these. Yeah, that needs to be cleaned, but that doesn't affect how the engine runs. And then we'll remove this back one too. The back one also doesn't affect how the engine runs, but I believe it does pick up electricity just a little bit. So that seems unusually dirty to me. So this engine might have that as a problem, you know, a lot of dirt. Yeah, that is a lot of dirt for a little screw. Let's check this out. Other than a lot of dirt. Oh, look at that, yeah. That can't be good. I don't know what happened there. That feels like silicone. It's really stuck on there. What is that? That is very strange. So yeah, for sure this has to be cleaned. We'll put the screw at a safe place. Then look at that, it's got all this silicone. I guess it's silicone, I'm not sure what it is. Maybe it's a railroad type of product. It's got its 2 traction tires. This is normal. Still no movement. I think I'm going to remove the valve gear. I can get to this screw. Now we're getting into the small stuff. But yeah, I need to remove this to get this going. So you can't make an omelette without cracking some eggs, as they say. I would just work on this on camera because I really can't see what I'm doing. I need that screw to come out, but I don't want to strip it out. That would be much, much worse. There. So that's off. And that's another thing I don't want to lose, is this little screw. That is one small screw. So I don't want to lose that. So I'm going to put that in a safe place. And then, but also this also seems to have some of that dirt or whatever it is, silicone, that makes the whole valve train really tough to move. I've never seen that before. Like the valve train all jammed up. What is this stuff? We'll do the same on the other side. Everything is jammed up, glued together. Same with the main rod. It's glued. Everything's glued together. I don't get this. Maybe the person wanted to have this as a static display. I can't even move the connecting rod. That's incredible. I'm using all my strength to move this. Well, no wonder it wasn't running. It's a good thing the person didn't get up, didn't try to, this one's coming loose better. That's good. And then once you have, this is called the excenter crank and the excenter rod. So once you have these rods out, the main rod should just come out. But that is strange. I've never had that before. Also, that also was glued together. Felt gluey. But these should just fall off and I have to pry them out. But what is this stuff? Wow. Still the wheels won't turn. That is crazy. That is the Via passenger train. So that screw also is all full of muck. Yeah, and that little plate that holds everything together is glued into place. What is happening? I would be curious to know. This is really stuck together. In fact, I have to be careful not to bend that plate. I mean, maybe the person was trying to lubricate this and they used the wrong stuff. But everything is seriously stuck together. I can't get in there. That is insane. Yeah, I'm prying very hard on this. Wow. Same with the wheel, everything is stuck. What is this stuff? Crazy. This one is stuck very hard. What is this stuff? It feels honestly, it feels like silicone. This is not good. You can remove these gears here inside. I didn't want to, but it looks like I'm gonna have to. And also the very nice micro trains kit comes out with this screw that held this plate in here. So you can also remove the crosshead with the cylinders and the two main rods. Yeah, these can go now. These can be removed now. So these will just slide out of there. Really easy to do usually, but everything's stuck. Let's just see if I can spin this. Or is that stuck as well? It'll spin, but it's pretty stuck. So this worm gear here, you can remove it with this screw. That's a pretty big screw considering, so I don't have too much to hold on to here. So that's going to be a problem. Usually once you remove the screw, it's very easy to take out. Let's just see if I can have it force itself out using the worm gear action. That's definitely worth a try. Let me work on that for a minute. It won't come out. So there's a little plate here that prevents the gear. You can see the axle to the gear from moving out. So I have to work on that. Try and move this out. But also it's stuck very hard. But this is just plastic. So you don't want to go crazy on that. You want to go gentle. But these usually they just fall out. So maybe they use the wrong kind of lubrication. I don't know. That is so sticky. So this gear, the same way, I should be able to move it out. Just a little bit at a time. So at least that one's moving. So that would be the story of this. They used the wrong kind of lubrication, and that just gelled, and that was the end of that engine. Although I want to have some compassion for the guy, because we all try stuff. I mean, I love to play with my trains, take them apart and lubricate them. So I tried a lot of stuff, but never that backfired as bad. You know, I collect Hot Wheels too, and the Hot Wheels, they tell you on the box they do not lubricate the wheels and axles, and they mean it. If you do it, the oil will melt the wheels, and that will be that. The end of that car. Although the professional restorers, they put new wheels, they buy new wheels and put new wheels. What? Yeah, they managed to get it all the way in there. Oh my God, it's so tight. Yeah, that's what she said. There, the 3 little plates and the 3 gears. But that is nasty. Let's see if I can back up the worm gear now. Really feels like silicone. I just finished looking at a video on removing silicone, and all they say, basically you have to use a knife and get it out. So I'm gonna be busy here taking all that stuff out. There's no chemicals to use to remove that, and for sure I don't want to put acids on my frame there. So I just have to patiently remove all these things, just a little bit at the time like that. I'm gonna be a while doing this, so the good news is the worm gear, even though I can't get it out, it turns freely. So that is extremely good news, but I can't get in there to clean it. So that's gonna be an extra challenge for sure. So I have to scrape all that now. It's gonna be a while. It's gonna run, but what a mess. Actually, that's starting to feel good. Not too much resistance there. That is some very, very nasty stuff. As a matter of fact, if you hate somebody, put that in their engine. It really feels like silicone, and it's green, so I was thinking maybe it's bullfrog snot. If you know what this is, put that down in the comments below. At any rate, it's gonna run. Just put some power to it. So it's gonna run. I still have a ton more cleaning to do. Now I'm gonna take out my toothbrush and I'm gonna go over everything with some dish soap, and then I'll have to re-inspect it and see where I'm at. Oh yeah, and I'm gonna remove the motor from the assembly. I don't want the motor to get wet. That would be bad. That would be bad. That's a quote from Ghostbusters. I watched Ghostbusters Afterlife, which was it was entertaining. It was okay. Just like all these guys, I miss Harold Ramis. It was missing a lot of the really good one-liners from the first movie. That Would Be Bad is one of the top ones. You know, when Peter Venkman goes into Dana's apartment from the first time and he touches the piano and he says they hate this, that's pretty funny to me. And whoa, 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 nice shooting, Tex. That's another good one-liner. And then, yes, this man has no dick is a very good one-liner. So they didn't have that many one-liners in the Ghostbusters Afterlife. Wasn't as good as the first one. Everything cleaned up pretty well. I'm gonna put this part on hold. I'm gonna do a little bit of work on the body shell. If you wanna get this body shell out, it's actually pretty easy. Just put your fingernail by these toolboxes and you pry them out, and then you pry the floor up, and that's it. You got the body shell in your hand. Rivarossi, made in Italy. And then this is what the tender floor looks like. I've had them where the tender floor got corroded, so do be careful, and these have to be cleaned as well. Right now I'm gonna want to work more on cosmetic stuff. I've had these for 30 years and I did not know that the roof could come out like that. So I'm going to take a minute here and make a new roof. I've been watching a lot of the RC guys, and they make machines, models, very precise models out of PVC pipe, and they scratch build everything. So I guess some of it's rubbed off on me. I'm going to make the roof for this So I start with a piece of paper just like they do, and I'll just make the outline of what I want. So just, that's what they do it. They'll take the time to measure it very precisely. I start with a piece of paper because it's easy to measure stuff. And I'm gonna want the roof to overhang a little bit. But not too much. And then I'll just draw out the shape I want. That is the trick, is to be very precise. That's what I learned from them. So let me just cut this up. So I'll just cut it up like so. And then I'll go try it on the roof, just to make sure that the size is good and the overhang is good. Actually, that looks awesome. That's exactly what I wanted. The other thing that I'm going to do, the other reason why I used paper, it's because I wanted to make sure both sides were exactly symmetrical. So with the paper I can fold it and make everything exactly symmetrical. This is how it sits on there. That looks actually all right. Then I have just an old box lid, a portion of a box lid, and I'm going to take my shape and I'm going to reproduce it in the cardboard. So that's going to become my repair panel, and I'm going to give it just enough of a bend so that it duplicates the shape that it really should have. I don't want to bend it too much at the one spot, but I will want it to be curved just like the roof should be. And then I will fit it until I have exactly what I want. Once you got it to the curvature that you like, it will just sit on there naturally, and that looks pretty good. So we're going to glue this together with some CA or crazy glue or cyanoacrylate. Try to get a kind that is very liquid, so it will get absorbed by the cardboard. When the glue gets absorbed by the cardboard, it produces, it just goes in there by capillarity, and it turns your cardboard into plastic. So I'm going very gently with this. I do not want to get my fingers too sticky. But I want to get it up right to the edge, because the edge does the most work, right? It is the edge that will get touched the most. So go very sparingly with your CA or crazy glue, because you can see it's working itself in there. You don't want to get too much and you don't want to get too little, so that's kind of a crucial thing. And there's plenty of time to work it, but I want to get it right up to the edge. what I got there, that's plenty of glue. So as it dries, it will turn the cardboard into plastic. Now we can set this into place. I got a little bit on my finger there. You don't want to have fingerprints on your model. Then you look like green light. If you get crazy glue fingerprints on your model. So I'm going to give this plenty of time to dry. But that looks great. So while my glue's drying, I'm going to work on cleaning the tender wheels. On the tender, you will notice that isolated wheels are on this side. And then on the fireman side, no, that's the engineer side, you have wheels that pick up electricity. So as you put it back together, you do not want to mix that up. It's real good to keep track of that. The same when I put back my wheels on the engine, you will see I'm very mindful of that. Now, although these, they don't look bad, but I'm not taking any chances since I have everything apart. So these, I just clean them with my rag. So I am doing the power pickup wheel. Well, it was a little dirty. And then the insulated wheel. That looks all right. Then this little pickup strip, I just do it with my finger. And I'm gonna take the other wheel out. And I'll do the same thing. It was a little dirty, but not terrible. And then once you have the two wheels out, you have your little contact strips, so I clean it. And you have your side frames with the little screw. But yeah, I do think this thing is in really good shape. It's like it was never run. I think putting it this side will be just a little better. So remember, you put the insulated side on the engineer side and the pickup side on the fireman side. Yeah, I do think this will look just a little bit better. That's what makes the difference, is taking your time. So that's what it looks like once everything's clean. This little wire here, what it's for is it puts pressure on the drawbar so that it contacts the bottom of the motor. Goes here on the bottom of the motor, and it puts pressure on it so you have positive electrical contact all the time. So it's very good to have that. Makes running the engine much smoother. So I'm just going to put the shell back on, and the tender is good. Now I'm running it on the lowest step of my power pack. So I'm going to be adding more stuff to it, and we'll see how much stress that puts on it. So usually I put oil sparingly, but because this thing was jammed up so bad, I'm going to put quite a bit. So I'll put the motor back. And I can even put back its screws because I don't think it's going to be leaving. As far as end scale goes, these screws are huge. These don't have to be in there super tight, just tight enough so they don't back up. And then I'm just putting the wire back for the light. That's all that this does. Then I keep testing it. So far so good. And then you'll see me adding just one part at a time. Oh, that fell in there. That was good. So I still add just a little bit of lubrication as I go. May as well do these other ones since I am there. And I'll put a little bit on the gear. Just on the side here. And I'll put its little retaining clip. And then I'll test it again. So that's good, it's still turning. I'm gonna try to put maybe one of the drivers. Then we'll see what happens. Oh, let's stop there. So consistently, it's gonna be tough. Every time I add a part, there's more of a potential for problems. Okay, so that's good news. Now, as I put the wheels back, I'm always careful. I'm looking at which side is connected and which side isn't connected. Oh, beautiful. So far, so good. I'm still running on the lowest possible setting for my power pack. I'm gonna add the two other gears that go in the middle there. So I do the same thing. I'll put some oil on this on both sides. So there's a big one, a mid-size one, and a small one. So the mid-size one goes in the middle. And it's not turning yet because it needs the driver to turn it. It's tough to show, but trust me, it is turning. Oh, that slowed down quite a bit there. But it looks like it's gonna run. And then I still need to put the last little one there. So the one that's closest to the front is the smaller one. And I'm going to put the retainers on. But now it's running on the lowest possible setting. So that tells you that I don't have too much resistance. Well, I did hit some resistance there, I guess. That's what you gotta do. You gotta be sure before you add parts that they are gonna work. Yeah, there's something happening here for sure, for sure. That's the number 1 axle. Almost. There's something interfering 100% there. So I'm going to take a look off camera because I don't want the video to get too boring. Okay, so I took my time, I put everything back together the way it was supposed to. I had problems because there was still a little bit of that silicone stuck in there. So first remark, as you put them back, make sure you have the face that's not insulated all on the same side. All these guys are not electrically contacted. So make sure you get them all on the same side. And you also have to time these together. There's a little bit of slack, but make sure you got them timed perfectly. So I've got them running now on the lowest setting of my power pack, which that is really neat. Now I'm gonna add the valve gear. So these the side rods, I mostly clean them with my hands, with my nails and my fingers. So the fork connects to the front number 1 driver, and then the number 3 driver, which is the main driver, gets the side rod. I had these little spacers still on the engine. I've never had them before. I guess people lose them over time. So that goes right there. Then the cylinder and the main connecting rod. That just goes in there. Should go back pretty easy. Once you have it in, you'll know immediately. Almost got it. They're usually not too hard. And then the eccentric crank with its little screw. Now that little screw, I've lost that on the floor before. Happens to the best of us. You can use the eccentric crank as a tool. A guy needs all the help he can get. So I use the eccentric crank as a tool to hold my screw, and then I bring it in gently. I have a good magnifying glass on my workbench. Comes in easy for that sort of stuff. So the timing of this has to be perpendicular, and then you take it back just half a turn, not even. And then once you have it where you want it, you can just go ahead and tighten it. It doesn't have to be super tight, just tight enough so it doesn't back out. Now we've got to put electricity to it and test it, make sure everything's working well. So far so good. I'm going to do the exact same thing on the other side. So I got it running. I'm still on the lowest setting on my power pack. So running on the bench is one thing, but running on the track, that's the real test. About the only thing I haven't done was to lubricate all the bearings of each driver. But you can tell it's going to be a good runner. I still have to put the pilot truck and the trailing truck and the pilot beam. But first, before I do that, I'm going to want to paint the roof and the smoke box. I'm going to try to do that with just one coat, if that's possible. So I am going to lubricate all that. So I have to remove these two screws. And remove that plate, and while I do that, I'm making sure that none of my gears jump anything. So I'm going to just re-lubricate that. Each of these bearings. You don't need a lot of oil, just one drop will do. And then I'll put the pilot beam before I reattach that plate. One before I do, I'm going to put my trailing truck. Gotta have that. It is the turn for that now. They don't have to be very tight, but they have to be tight enough so they don't back out. Actually feels real good. Now I can put the front truck back in. What gives power to the front truck is this plate and the screw that goes on top of here. So that, did you see the spring fly? That is pretty tricky to put back. I always say gravity is my friend, but in this case it's going to be pretty tough. So I'm going to remove this just to give me some room, and then I have to put that, I have to start that screw off camera because I really need to see what I'm doing. Come to think of it, I might be able to do it on camera. I just about got enough room to do it. Just about. You can put that in the comments below whether you prefer to watch me struggle or whether you'd prefer to have it just sped up. I'd be curious to know. But there you go. I could do it on camera. And then I want to make sure that it's in its proper place and it can still move. Actually, that looks great. Pretty pleased with that. So I'm not missing much, just missing the body shell. All right, now my shell is dry. I can put the two together. This is a nice detail. These injectors here, that's the air pump, that's the injector, that's the other injector, and they are unbroken. So that's a nice detail. And that last final screw, just making sure everything's looking good. And I need to tweak this just a little bit. And it's in. How do you like my roof? So all I have to do is attach the tender. And now it's time to run some trains. Well, I hope you enjoyed the video. I certainly had fun making it for you. See you soon.